page board.
I was just volunteering your services.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, starting out with the approval of meeting agenda. Is there any new, or does anybody see anything that needs to be amended on the current list? All right, can I get a motion to approve meeting agenda for this meeting?
Motion.
Get a second. Okay, you got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. All right, we got into the approval of meeting minutes from October 2nd, 2024.
One change needs to be made, on the third one, 10/3/3/24, it needs to say in the third sentence. Sorry.
And
Is the third motion.
3-3, okay.
We need to change it to amend it to make a change for postage.
To make,
Change for postage.
Rather than tax payment?
Correct.
any others? Did you any others?
That is it, that I see.
Okay. Motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 2nd, 2024. Can I get a second?
With change, I
Oh,
will.
sorry, thank you, with change.
with
So
amendment.
actually, we have to approve the amendment. So, sorry, I'll revise that motion. A motion to approve the amendment to the meeting minutes from October.
I think we can approve it with the amendment, right? I think we can approve it all at one time. We can say, we're approving the meeting minutes from October 3rd with the amendment, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That's
so
fine.
just make it one.
Right, so, anyway.
Are you making that motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I motion to
Approve the meeting minutes from October 3rd, 2024 with amendment, Treasurer's Report 24/10-3-3, amended to make change for postage instead of amended to make change for tax payment.
Sounds good. I'm glad I thought of it.
You did a great job.
All right, okay, that's the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, moving on to the treasurer's report. Rochelle, what do you got for us today?
Okay, so, the tax fund that, has 11,000 in it now. We have to transfer over the fees, administrative fees, to the general fund still. And the ARPA funds, I'm in the process of working with the CPA to make sure those are transferred properly, to make sure that they continue to qualify. So those were the two things I had there. And then also one other thing, just to note, was that we did receive a check in the amount of $2,157.98 for reimbursement for the cost of the February 27th, 2024 presidential primary.
Can you give me that amount again?
Sure, it's $2,157.98.
So is that part of, okay, so I'm a little
That-
lost.
that's
Is that
just gonna
is
be
that
in the general fund.
General deposits then,
Yeah.
you're saying?
Under the election.
Well, that wouldn't be on here, that heading, under the election.
No, it's in the general fund. I was just kind of bringing to note that that was a deposit that we did have. That
So
was
with all the,
something
with all the changes that they made to, the elections and with Proposition, 2, we had set it up to reimburse, funds for the elections for this year only. So that was our piece of it.
And it was just to be noted so that you know that was something that we didn't.
Did that sum cover the additional costs?
Oh, gosh, no. I'm sure it didn't.
So I know normally it's around 10 grand,
Mhm.
so any idea where we're at currently on that?
I would have to run a report on that, I have not done that.
Okay. What was that number again? Was it,
It was $2,157.98.
so that would be an additional, because of the added things that had to be done, so, okay, so,
Yeah.
and that would not have covered it, so more than likely we're over for budgetary.
No, I think for the February primary, you're probably fine with 10,000 because it's so much smaller of an election. There's not the postage going out, and thankfully, it was before they raised the rates to $1 a ballot to send.
Okay.
That is it that I have for my report.
And I know that you had a report issue with it, spitting up the wrong numbers. Did we get the proper one?
That is the proper one. It had, for the tax fund, it had listed value instead of actually listing the dollar amount, so that's all. I made the correction and reprinted it.
Okay,
So you have the correct one.
all right. Any other questions from the board? All right, I'll motion to accept or approve the treasurer report. Any a second? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, moving on to the clerk's report, for the November 2024 bills. Excuse me. Township bills total $20,253.75.
Yeah, that 13,000 is the majority of that.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention the
That's the
drain,
drain.
that's the drain bill,
Yep, yearly drain.
which they're always higher than they quote. I forget what that number was originally. Yeah, that's the drainage for 2024 for the upcoming year, or for the year, yeah. And I see here are the grants for the administration of the
For the election.
election.
Are you talking about the
The grant.
1084?
I'm seeing 6,000,
Right, hold
5,000
on,
here.
wait a minute.
They're at the top.
Oh.
Institution of Responsible Government and Center of
Oh, that was,
Technology.
yes, that was 2 grants, sorry. Catching up.
So would that, since I mentioned it previously, for the, would that also cover, is that the technology and stuff?
No, that is the door, and that's the security, like, we needed to use those for security, so the first thing that's been spent out of it is the door.
So what you're seeing is that's
That's
the
the
deposit.
Yep, that's the deposit from it.
Yeah, I wasn't, I guess I was thinking about finish, but
Yeah.
was that used for any other tasks, or other expenses for the election itself?
No, we haven't been billed at all for it yet, because we haven't gotten billed from high tech
The
yet.
only bill we did receive was that,
Oh,
one for the
the-
blacksmith.
He fixed the doors, so they actually closed.
The guy that,
Yep, it's, MJ Locksmith Services, the $150.
but that was for the automatic lock, or the,
No, that's for the other doors that we had fixed,
oh,
Just
okay.
the interior doors.
yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. All right. Good to know. So that was $150. And on a bonus, we got 22,000 for revenue as well. Okay. Other than that, any other questions or concerns? All right, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to fire department bills for the month of November. So that would be $1,304.10. All pretty low. So
Big one was their polos that they ordered.
So we got the bill for that.
Yep.
Okay, and I see that, we have 1 or 2 runs as well,
Yep, 2 runs paid.
2 runs paid. So would that be from a previous month then, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. motion to approve the, the, fire department bills. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Alright, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to payroll, which totals $4,398.02. That doesn't include the poll workers, correct?
Correct, no, the full works, yet.
Would that go on next month, I
Yeah.
assume, or does that go later on?
No, it'll go, I have it, but, yeah, it wasn't happening between the election and now,
Well, the election happened this month.
yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah. Alright. I guess, can I get your questions or concerns? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the payroll?
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion? Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We also have an additional bill here, or invoice, for additional approval, from Town Engineering from his work during the, special land use, hearing, which I guess was kind of overlooked, totaling $2,135. I'll motion to pay it. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, get a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Moving on to the fire report. Donnie?
We had 2 runs. We have a soup supper coming up on the 16th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Township Hall. Everybody's invited to come out, it's donations. There's gonna be like 4, maybe more soups, and a couple little side things, but you're all invited to come out.
Can you tell me the time again? I didn't type fast
6
enough.
p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah, the night, yeah.
And that's on the
November
16th?
16th. Saturday. Next Saturday.
Was there a reason that you, had it there instead of here?
No, it's just I picked that spot. We usually had, last time we had a soup supper, we had it there and it worked out pretty good.
So that'll be an indoor event, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. No, there was no rhyme or reason behind it, just other than that.
I would like to make a suggestion though, so your signs, blue and black, man, they're hard to see.
Are they?
Yeah, you need something kind of white and black or yellow, something that sticks out. We got 2 darks and I was trying to read what it was driving down the road, and you can't see what it is.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It's also on the small side, kind of the right.
That big sign though, hunters welcome.
Yes. Yes.
I think you should do the hunters,
Wish-
widows welcome. None of us wanna cook.
Well, there's gonna be plenty of soup there. I know there's gonna be chicken there, there's gonna be, potato soup there, chicken noodle soup, and a couple other side soups, so there's, like I said, there's gonna be like 4 or more soups there, so.
Free will donation, you said?
Yep, it's all donation. I do believe we have to go to containers, so if you don't wanna stay, you can take a to-go container and go,
And you prefer 50s and 100s, I assume?
whatever you wanna throw in there.
Okay.
I won't be there.
The truck filters, we were supposed to get done last week, they did not get done. He said possibly the end of this week, we're coming up on the end of this week, so maybe next week. But that's all the fuel filters that I've been talking about for the last couple weeks. Just giving you a reminder that that's gonna still be done. We're also meeting a grant writer this month for the FEMA grant that's coming up for fire gear. I have at least 8 to 10 sets of fire gear that I'm trying to get through the FEMA grant. So, we're gonna keep our fingers crossed and hopefully we can get a FEMA grant to support the gear. Other than that, I didn't see it on the agenda. I know last month we had a demonstration and I was just wanting to know if the ARPA monies, if I could, get a little more. I was looking for a little extra to help with those cutters and spreaders. The total of the cutters and spreaders is 35,000.
And I believe, currently we've dedicated, I believe, 15,000, is that
You, for the ARPA monies, yes, you gave me 15,000.
okay.
So, your old cutters are worn out?
They're getting old. They don't cut all the metals that we got now. At the demonstration, it took 3 cuts to the 1 of that.
Is there a company that sharpens them?
It's not the sharpening, it's power and speed.
Yeah.
That one can make, it's also got a longer cut too, it had that much more cut on it. The set we got now is just, it's 20 years old, it's getting out of date. It won't cut the older metals, it won't cut the newer stuff. The newer stuff, they keep designing newer metals all the time, and it's harder and harder to cut through.
And it was during your demonstration, it was obviously a lot faster. They like you said,
They cut their
One
whole
cut.
side, and came to our side, and started cutting before we were even done.
yeah. And it's obviously quicker, and it seemed a lot more handy as well, one person as opposed to dragging a lot, cause I guess you weren't there, Fred, but, they were tethered to a hydraulic line or
Hydraulic line.
to a hydraulic line going to a pump that's attached to a generator,
And
correct?
if that line gets cut, my tools
Yeah,
useless.
I've seen them before, but not the new ones.
The new battery operator ones, I don't have that problem. The technology's come a long way. You can get a car and a half to almost 2 cars out of a battery now, where before a long time ago you couldn't. So, and I'm not tethered, like I said, if that line gets cut, I can't use that tool. I'm down to 1 line.
And I thought a great point also was mentioned by your demonstrator during that demonstration about how, let's say somebody got pinned, I think she mentioned a real world example of, somebody got pinned, I think in a corn head or something like that. And, out in the middle of a field, and they, couldn't drive to it, so if you had to get to that person, you could hoof it, across that field with those cutters. One person can carry it, unfortunately with, if we tried to take that there, we'd have to, if you had to hoof it, that would be quite an effort, it would take like 5, it'd be like 3 or 4 people just to carry the pieces. As opposed, each individual piece, the cutter, the hoses, the generator, the pump, you're tied up, and, you probably have to take a rest, cause they're pretty hefty items too.
They're not as light as, the old stuff is heavier than the new stuff.
Do you guys have, grain bin rescue kits or no?
No, we do not.
I just wondered.
Yeah, so obviously 15, so you would be looking for an additional 25, if my math is right there. Additional 25,000 to cover just the cutters,
The
essentially.
cutters and the spreaders, yeah.
Cutter and spreader.
20.
So it's not just one unit, it's two units with, are the heads interchangeable, or is it,
No,
it's a cutter?
each unit is designated to itself, just like the old ones, each line is designated to its own tool, you can only run 1 tool off of 1 line.
To answer Marilyn's question, we applied for a grant on that and we didn't get it.
Okay, so
So
I seen them online and I just wondered if you guys had them. Did you guys, apply for the community foundation grants? Cause they had a cutoff date was November 1st.
We applied for a couple grants here a little while ago and we got denied both of them.
Okay.
Denied access, or just?
They didn't give a reason why, they just said, we're not gonna give you this.
And that was probably one of them, I assume, yeah, so anyway, so, lost my train of thought now, so I'm done. Yeah, an extra 25 grand is what you're hoping, just to cover that part of the deal.
20.
Or did I say 20, or, yeah, 15, 20 grand extra, which I think we have that in the remainder, if memory serves, from what we had there.
We already gave them part of what we had left over, so I don't know.
Wasn't it 15? Yeah,
Because we started, we were giving them 10, and we
Was it
changed
10?
it to 15.
Okay.
And now you want an extra 25.
20.
Now, what is the price of just the cutters? And I know you would like to have both, but my understanding is you can purchase them separately. Is it something where you could purchase like either the cutters and then fundraise for the other, for the spreaders?
You could try, another option I wanted to run through you was to meet you halfway. To use half of the millage money that I have and ask for half through the ARPA funds as well.
I guess I also should mention, the price changes at the first of the year, correct?
The price changes in January. After December
December
31st, that price is no longer valid and it goes
It
up.
goes down.
It will go up.
We don't know exactly where we're at with all of our other stuff, right?
So, yeah, so we're kind of on a clock. Last chance would be this meeting to do so, to make that decision, essentially, or you make that decision tonight if you want to go that route. But yeah, so and that still leaves also, you also have turnout gear as well that needs to be replaced as well. Is that right? You said for
I have 4 sets right now that need to be replaced.
need to be replaced as well, which, trying to remember the numbers for that.
$3,500 a set.
35 a set as well, which to replace those would be coming out of your budget as well. Yeah. So it's expensive to run a fire department, obviously.
There's nothing cheap about running a fire department.
Well, and I'm concerned too, because do we have a truck that's gonna have a chassis that has to be replaced in a couple of years? Cause
Right now,
don't they have an
they climb-
expiration date?
They climbed underneath it and they said, the trucks don't have an expiration date. The recommendation is every 25 years you replace your truck, cause that's typically when they start to fail.
Okay,
That truck is a 2001, so it's coming up here. But,
Same year.
we had the guy come out and look at it, the box itself, the toolbox, just, from the pump house back, is all in really good shape. So the only thing we would have to replace is the chassis of the truck,
which is,
with my figure, rough figure, it's gonna cost you brand new chassis with the pump, the box and stuff put back on it, somewhere between 300,000 to 350,000.
But as of right now, it's still an operational.
It's still operational, still runs, one of the best running trucks we got.
So, and I guess, once you hit that operational, well, at their recommended time, like with a lot of safety gear, you're not supposed to use it past its life. I assume a fire truck is not that, you wouldn't run into static from the state or anything,
There is
safety
no life
officials.
cycle on a fire truck,
Okay,
How many miles you got on it?
not many. Whoever gets a fire truck from a fire department, they get a really low mileage vehicle.
so,
Is the cab undercoated? Has anything been done to where it needs to be replaced? I mean, is it rotting out or what's going on with it?
No, it's not rotting out, it's just the whole truck itself, we're just trying to stay ahead of the cart. Not get caught to the point where it's broke down and doesn't work no more in our down trucks. So, eventually, yes, we have to replace that truck, but right this second, no, we don't.
probably within the next 5 years, a serious conversation has to be made.
well, that's not money to try to come up with, though, that's,
Well,
yeah.
as I said, a conversation
Yeah.
start. And that's, I know that was Jeff's, Whiting?
With
I know he had a big push when he was just chief, he wanted to get that started, the ball rolling with that. But after talking to these guys and what he's saying right now, it doesn't seem to be quite as urgent to replace. And another thing was the chassis replacement. So with the chassis replacement, you said 300 to 350 essentially, or?
That's what the box put on back to service,
Yeah.
roughly, that's
For a
not
brand-
not a set quote, that's
To,
roughly.
to replace that truck apples to apples,
It's
probably
probably gonna
6.
cost you about 115 to 120. I think the chassis itself is 115 to 120.
Yeah,
So the
Replace-
the installation is that other additional piece?
Yes.
Okay.
To replace that truck brand new, if you went like Brockling's route, you're talking $600,000 to $700,000.
And you guys just, I don't have all the words for it, but you replaced the top parts, not the chassis, in the recent past, right?
Yeah, we just replaced the pump in it.
Yeah.
It's got a brand new pump within the last year or so, 2 years. Which that pump runs strong, it's a good running pump. And like I said, the guy that did the truck, he went underneath it, he couldn't believe it, but it's spotless underneath there, so. That box is in really good shape.
So. So you said if, to come, so you would like, so if we bumped it up to 20, I guess, 20 grand, I guess what's half of 35 in your head real quick?
Well, they already got 15, so.
I'm just saying whatever half of that, would be 17 grand. So if we went 1750 or another, or 18, 20, or 18 or something like that, seems like that would at least, that could make it happen, essentially. That could make it happen. And it was a pretty impressive show. I mean, it was kinda hard to see from our vantage point, but I think it was pretty obvious that it was noticeable the difference between the actual, I'd be curious your guys' opinion about how fast and the lack of manpower necessary to operate it too, and, you know, I don't know, what your guys' thoughts of the demonstration was, I think it was pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'd love to just be able to buy it for him, but I'd also like to be able to buy a chassis for the truck, 'cause, I mean, if you can't get there because you don't have a truck, that doesn't matter if you have good jaws or not.
Well, we're not setting aside this ARPA funds
Yeah.
for a new truck either.
Yeah.
So that 15 we get is gonna go for something, you know.
Usually the millage, from what I understood, the millage money that was brought in, that's what that was for, was to replace a truck later on.
Well, if we don't know what we're doing with all these ARPA funds, I don't think we can make a decision tonight on that anyway.
Alright, well, we've got options here, so it's possible to go with, say, 18,000, make it, you know, and you can make that order, next month, essentially.
I can still make that order next month, yes.
Okay. Alright, so, some more deliberating, I think need to be done before we can say yes on that.
Definitely going over the numbers. We have to,
Yeah.
we have to
We
know the
really need to
number,
look at the
solid,
numbers. Yeah.
I don't think, yeah, I mean, before we make any decision on it.
Okay, just as a reminder, there's December 31st, that's the cutoff, and then it's probably 5% more, maybe, 10% more,
They didn't give me a number.
who knows?
Well, that is what it is though.
Maybe it'll go down since Trump's going in.
I would bet. So, anyway, alright. So, to be continued, we'll get you a definite answer by the next meeting or so.
Any questions?
And how many runs, you said you had 2 runs this
Two
week?
rounds, yep.
Were they fire or just rescue or?
Car fire and camper fire, grass fire and woods.
It was mutual aid,
Okay,
mutual aid and car fire.
oh, they both are mutual aid?
No, one was a mutual aid, one was a car fire,
Oh, okay.
One was ours.
one was ours.
Out of curiosity, was it the car fire or? Okay,
The car fire was ours, mutual aid was Brockway,
okay.
and that was 2 campers back in the woods.
So on a car fire, like, I know for like a house fire, it's a call is $1,000, so like for a car fire or something like that,
I would say,
is it still $1,000 for a call, for that sort of thing too? Alright,
well, I don't do billing.
It's $1,000 for an auto accident,
Is it?
of any kind, yes, it's
oh,
very nice.
okay. Because I've never seen that number, so I was just curious. Alright, I think we're good, any other questions, Donnie? Alright, thank you, sir. Alright, moving on to planning, which, I did not receive a report, I don't know if you guys received anything from Andrew, he's not here right now. And Jeremy's not here either, so, there wasn't any meeting since our last meeting, so I assume there's nothing else.
Didn't
Nope,
they
nope.
meet after our last meeting?
I don't think that last
They
one.
met, their October meeting was.
They did, you're right, you're right.
10 minutes, wasn't it?
They did, but yeah, so, I don't have an update, unless you received something, I did not, so, I guess I'll have to wait till December to get that report, so. Alright, moving on. For the zoning report. A couple of calls this month, dealing with or working with a resident for a split on Jordan Road, a land split on Jordan Road. I've been contacted a couple times, it's still ongoing. Also on 1017, spoke with a resident about a parcel on Hellad Road for zoning requirements. You know, what they could use, or you know, our specific requirements for building. 23rd, spoke with an individual inquired about zoning on, for a parcel on Brockway Road, for zoning requirements for building as well. On the same day, talked to another resident about a land use permit for build a garage on Galbraith Line, and been in contact with them a couple different times trying to get his permit where it needs to be. And that would be it. So, all right. Questions, concerns, thoughts? All right. Moving on. All right, moving on to public comment. Please, if you can, go to the podium, address the board. Please no crosstalk. Let's try to keep them around 3 minutes maximum. And like I said, no crosstalk. Please direct your comments to the board.
Okay, before the township board decides to hire someone, our township needs to have a hiring personnel policy, whether the positions are appointed or hired. To go forward without one would leave our township open because we could be violating state or federal employment laws. We also need to decide if we are an at-will employer or a just cause employer, and are we an equal opportunity employer? Just because we've always done it this way does not mean that it is the correct way to do it. We have to follow the laws. We need to have policy on how we post job openings. We need to have a job description for any position we have to hire. We have to list what skills are required to apply to the position. We have to have a township application, or require a resume, or require both. How do we publish a position vacancy? Newspaper, website, online employment website. We must have a policy on how to have interviews, which are required to be held in open meetings. We need to have a training and development policy. We need to require performance reviews. Do we require background checks? We also must have a standard of conduct policy. How will complaints be handled? We must have a gratuity policy. We need to have a termination policy, timekeeping policy, and defined work schedules. These are but a few reasons that no one should be hired or appointed to any positions before our township has a hiring and personnel policy in place.
Thank you. Anyone else? Speak. Susan.
I have several things for you. Because you do not provide treasurer's bills at the current meeting, they're not available, I understand, until after the meeting. I would like to offer a clarification. You frequently say that you're paying November bills. If you look at your treasurer's report, I believe that every check that you're drawing is for October 1 through October 31st. They do not have pay dates of November. You are not paying November bills. You are paying October bills. You may be signing those bills in November after being authorized by this meeting. But those bills are for October 1 to October 31. And I would like to see where that is not the case, because every month that has been the case. You state that you're paying for the next month when all of the bills are being drawn in arrears on the previous month. And I think it's a clarification that perhaps you should be looking at making. I also would like to make a recommendation to this board that you consider spending the $10,000 that I'm sure you're going to come up with as a fee to join Homier's lawsuit in discussion number 1 under new business. And I believe that along with 200 plus other entities that have already joined his action, you would be throwing good money after bad joining in. The benefits to Speaker Township will be exactly the same as it will for any other township in the state of Michigan, regardless of whether Homier wins his suit against the MPSC. So why throw good money after bad at this time when you have a fire department that could genuinely use that $10,000 investment for the jaws of life? Wait until one of our relatives gets in an accident and needs those faster jaws, and we don't have them because we gave it to Homier's lawsuit.
It's not,
One more item, just one more item. You just start your item. Just one more.
I wondered how many of you actually read the auditor's report. And I'm not sure exactly when I came in, was it June, July? But I have read it, and I wonder how many of you actually read it.
it's kind of,
Yeah, okay. Is that your point, Susan? You're good?
No, the one thing that, he asked me to continue,
Just
sir.
Just finish your point and then we'll move on.
The auditors made a distinction at least twice in the report, if not 3 times, that you are not doing business on an accrual basis. Look at your monthly reports in the upper left-hand corner. They all indicate that the reports are run on an accrual basis. I'm asking, do you know the difference between cash basis and accrual basis? And it's a simple correction when you run reports. But I still would like to know if you know the difference between accrual and cash basis.
Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you. All right, next, anybody else like to speak? Sir?
Thank you for your time, appreciate it. We the people have spoken at the federal level, the county level, at the township level, and at the village level. We got some work to do on a few items in the village, a few in the township, but we're headed in the right direction. I'd just like to quote from the MCL book here that you all have read and know. A public comment. Attorney General's opinion, it's the opinion of the authors that the person cannot be refused the opportunity to speak during the public comment period of the Open Meetings Act if they do not identify themselves. That is not a requirement. He also states that you can adopt a rule that prohibits a person from using the boards in the public time to make personal attacks upon an individual if the content of the speaker's attack refers to the content of the person being attacked that is totally unrelated to the matter in which he or she performs his or her duties. It is not a matter of public concern. Commenting on how officials perform their duties is political free speech. The supervisor should not allow the board members to interfere with the public's right to speak during the public comment period. During public comment, the board listens to the public. Conversely, the public cannot demand that the individual board member respond to the public comment, and that the board members should not be responding or directing comments individually to members of the audience. If the response is appropriate, The board should direct that specific staff or official contact the person and meet with them or initiate a response in the normal course of business. Nothing prevents a public body from allowing a greater degree of openness that the law requires, or latitude. You have to have one public comment period, but at the board's discretion, you can have another during the body of the meeting. And I'll close with, the township board meetings are not town hall meetings where everyone has a say in the decisions. And they are not meant to be extended complaint sessions or arguments. This is something that many people, including township boards themselves, lose sight of, especially nowadays when national politicians regularly use the term town hall meetings to refer to a public forum. But that does not represent the form of local government that we have in Michigan. And it goes on to say a number of other things. And as supervisor in 1992 to 96, there was only one incident that an audience member would not abide by the rules, and I gave him extreme opportunity to clean it up. And I had to revert to calling the sheriff and had it dealt with that way, which is authorized by law. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
You bet.
Anyone else like to speak? All right, moving on. Thank you for your participation. First item on the old business is community service workers update. So I currently set up the sheriff's department work crew to do some work at the township cemetery to clean up the hedgerows, also clean up around the graves, clean off all the grave decorations. Since it's past October 1st, anything out there needs to be removed. If anybody knows that, or should know that. So they'll be removing that stuff as well. Weed whacking around these headstones. Also, I plan on getting some black dirt out there here in the next couple days. They can fill in any holes, groundhog holes, or and mound up any recessed or sunken grave sites as well. So yeah, generally tidy things up while we go into winter time. And also there'll be also coming in, not this next week, but a later date, possibly that week, but more than likely in a couple weeks after that, more than likely. Coming into the hall and working on the floors, doing some general cleaning. I think you said you want to clean the walls, clean surfaces, windows, all kinds of cleaning and stuff of that nature as well. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at on that deal. So. All right. Moving on to, at least there's any questions about that? Okay. Moving on to the zoning administrator applications. So I guess I never received any applications for the zoning administrator other than the gentleman I talked to. I guess we received one that I guess I wasn't CC'd on this past month. So I wasn't received. I put forth the individual that I did before. I guess I would still like to use that individual since I wasn't contacted about that. But I thought I'd generate a conversation at least. Hear from the board members. So before we see what you guys want to do necessarily with that.
We have other people to interview, I'm not gonna make a decision until then.
Well, I mean, they never contacted me, so I mean, it goes through me, I guess, so they would be before the deadline, or after the deadline, technically for me seeing it anyway, but just to be technical about it.
Did we actually set a deadline?
Yeah.
What deadline?
It wasn't a deadline, but it was essentially, I put them forth at the last meeting, you guys met with them, that's what you guys wanted to do, and then we were gonna, my interpretation of our discussion was we would vote on this month, so. but there is other applicant as well. So if you guys don't wanna move forward on that, I assume you vote no if I put him forward, so I still hope you guys will still take into consideration the gentleman that you guys met with. I think he's a great choice for it, he's hungry to do the job, and, is
I don't
plenty of
know if he's gonna
background.
have time, that guy's so busy doing stuff,
Well-
he told me.
Well, anyway, yeah, well, he assured me that cause he has multiple employees, that he'd have the time to pull away at any time he needs to do anything. That's how it was explained to me. 'Cause
He has multiple businesses too.
Sure, and multiple employees, doing really well, very successful kid. I guess he's not a kid, young man, so yeah, so, I'm just saying,
Well, and
he's a great choice.
I do think, I mean, and we talked a little bit about, and Carolyn mentioned it during her public comment, but we need a procedure to do this. I think always having done it that way is maybe not the best way to do it.
I mean,
Um,
It's been the procedure as long as.
yeah, but
I'm told.
just because you've always done it that way before doesn't mean it's right. We've been down that road before.
So, with that being said, I'm currently the zoning administrator right now, if you don't wanna vote on that individual tonight. I'm currently the zoning administrator, and my term ends, which means I will not be the zoning administrator. So you'll be without a zoning administrator after the 19th. So,
So technically, then the next supervisor will take on that position.
correct, but they will not be trained.
Right.
in-
No, I
in
get that.
anything up in the air, and all that stuff.
But I'm just saying that you would have some, but they wouldn't be trained, obviously.
Yeah, and that was the urgency of why I wanted to get that taken care of, is so while I was still had access to the building and the files and the ability to train them,
Yeah.
that was the idea of that person, of making that decision as soon as possible, so I could get them onboarded, what they need to do, get it, the whole thing. Not just the MTA training, but also obviously our filing system, all that fun stuff, phone numbers, et cetera. So, just letting you know, that's the way it would be, you'd be out without a zoning administrator at that point. But I
Would you
guess,
be willing to be the zoning administrator until we can get a policy in place and hire them?
I think I could probably do that. We would have to, like I said, we talked about earlier, that had to be voted on tonight, that I would be the acting zoning administrator. I think I probably would have to be sworn in again after the fact, I believe, as well. So I would be open. I'm not sure.
I need to look.
I'm not sure about that. I was, Bonnie, were you sworn in, when you took the zoning administrator job? Okay. That's what I thought so, yeah.
See her, did she say yes or no?
She's not a guest.
Okay.
So, I would be willing to do that, but, I mean,
On a temporary basis.
on a temporary
until we can
basis.
Get a procedure in place to hire somebody.
yeah. So, that is an option. The more permanent option would be to put forth the individual I put forth last meeting, anyway.
Well, just to throw him in there doesn't mean that everybody agrees that he can do the job.
Well, I think he would be good for the job, that's my recommendation to the board, I think he would be very good for the job. And I understand he's a busy guy, he's got businesses going on, but from my understanding is, he has employees to take care of all that stuff, and he can leave at any time he wants, that's what he's told me, so yeah.
Bill, sorry, you need to look at
Public comment, it's not
who's,
public comment.
no, come on.
It's not.
There were public comments made throughout earlier. I'm just saying, you need to look at whose responsibility it is to put forth names for the positions. Not everything is up to just
Well,
a hiring.
It is my responsibility to put it forth, but
Exactly.
they are telling me that they will not vote yes. So instead of giving the embarrassment of me putting them forth and then voting them down, I'm giving them the option. Right?
But I'm saying
That's what I'm hearing.
it's not necessarily an application process. It is the responsibility of the supervisor to put forth that name.
I agree, I'm just trying
That's
to
all I'm
be,
trying to clarify.
I'm trying to be courteous to my board members
I
and not
understand.
embarrass the individual involved.
Right, but I just wanted them to realize too, they need to look at.
Thank you. All right, anyway, so. What do you guys wanna do?
I think we need to hold off. I think last month, everybody, I know, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the zoning one. I'm not zoning, I'm thinking about the PC, sorry.
Can you speak a little louder?
I'm sorry.
Can you speak up?
I was mentioning that last month we had talked about holding off, but that was the planning commission one that we were speaking about.
Yes. So, if that is the will of the board, if that, you guys think you want us to hold off as well, or I guess,
Oh, yeah.
what are we
Yes,
doing
definitely.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you think the guy is qualified based on your discussion? I would question that based on mine with him. I'll put it that way.
okay,
I talked to him for well over an hour.
fair enough, that's fine. So, yeah, and if, you know, like you said, like you mentioned, if you wanted to create a policy, but still, legally, the supervisor needs to put those people forth. You know, still, just,
But we also need to talk, you know, with MTA, I thought they had said we have to do an interview process, a public interview process, and I would want to make sure that that's what we need to do.
that's fine. Yeah, then that
Before
would
we
still
make a
need to be,
decision.
for that instance, I believe then you'd have to amend the administrative rules and put that in writing, if that's the way you wanna go about it, as opposed to.
I just wanna make sure when we do it right.
Sure, no, I'm,
That's how Michigan tells us we're supposed to do
well,
it.
I'm just saying, I would recommend, I'm just giving you a recommendation to put it in your administrative bylaws. or not
Well, I think we
bylaws.
need to have probably a written procedure in general, right?
Yeah, I know, but not just one sitting in the office, I'm talking about.
Oh, for sure.
In the ordinance book is what I'm
Yep.
talking about,
Yep, for sure.
so, if that's the way you wanna go about it. So are you asking me to continue on as the zoning administrator temporarily?
Until we can find somebody.
If Bill will do it, yeah.
I'll do it.
We'll have to figure something else out.
I'd make the motion that we ask Bill Maitland to stay on as zoning administrator
Until the.
temporarily until we
Okay,
find something.
is there a second for that?
I'll second.
Alright, well, I think that a simple vote is fine on that, would you agree?
I think so.
Or would it be a, or, I guess we'll go simple vote. Okay. Okay, motion carries.
What was that motion that you started?
The motion was to, have me continue on as the zoning administrator till the position can be filled. And it was, seconded by, or it was brought forth by Michelle, and seconded by, I think it was Fred, right? And then they vote, it is a simple vote, they, approve the motion.
Is that a temporary position then?
Yes. Anyway, so, so it sounds like you don't, since we're portion as well, we don't wanna discuss the planning commission openings as well. Is what it sounds like as well, similar situation, so we move on to that from that, so. Alright, we're done, any other old business we need to discuss? We good? Alright, moving on to, new business. Discussion on authorizing the township attorney to fill the appropriate, or file the appropriate legal action regarding the MPSC's October 11 decision on PA 233. So, I didn't see this until today, or the other day. I missed the, a different email that I don't monitor, so I'm a little out of the loop, so I'm gonna kind of pass this over to you. If you'd like,
Just read the letter.
I would recommend you do that.
Although it says it's subject to attorney-client privilege, can I read that out loud?
I don't think
Broad
so.
strokes then,
I think you have to discuss just an overview of it.
like broad strokes, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, confidentiality, that's bad. I mean, you could waive the privilege and read it,
Can we waive it without him?
I believe so.
I mean, can we
I-
say what
I-
broad strokes of it is, right?
I think you just need to basically say what what we're asking, or he's asking.
It's been posted on the internet, it's on Facebook. It's no secret.
But it's not our choice to do that, I mean, we didn't post it,
No.
I don't, would,
Yeah, if you wanna do broad strokes, that's probably the safest bet.
Okay.
obviously.
So the MPSC made a decision, narrowing,
Maybe say what MSP.
oh, sorry,
MSPC was,
Michigan
is,
Public Service Commission,
and what they are.
which, okay, the Michigan Public Service Commission, which is the government entity that is going to oversee Public Act 233, and Public Act 233 is the, renewable energy resource, placement in townships, that says if you're not in compliance with their rules about what that means for 233, that the MPSC, the Michigan Public Security Commission, will come into your community and place the, renewable energy resources on their own, without any say-so from the townships. Fair, fair of that. The legislature made Public Act 233, the MPSC has, decided to interpret Public Act 233, in such a way that, our township attorney disagrees with, and, there is, since then grown, I'm trying to like say this without a lot of words, sorry, I'm stuttering.
I don't think you can. Kind of.
Yeah, that they're filing a class action lawsuit to challenge that interpretation of 233. I did talk to him this evening.
If I may
Yeah, go ahead.
ask a quick question, I guess, the specific provision there, they are actually, challenging? Is it section 22 or 2268?
Yeah.
There, what I'm saying?
It's,
I think that's important as well.
well, that's theirs, right, so this is their opinion, the MPSC's opinion. The commission finds that the, compatible renewable energy ordinance under Act 233 means an ordinance that provides for the development of energy facilities within a local unit of government, the requirements of which are no more restrictive than the provisions included in section 226(8). The commission further specifies that a CREO, the compatible renewable energy ordinance, may only contain the setback, fencing, height, sound, and other applicable requirements expressly outlined in section 226(8) of Act 233, and may not contain additional requirements more restrictive than those specifically identified in that section. So that's theirs,
And that's what's being,
public.
is that what's being challenged?
That is what's being challenged,
That's, yes,
yes.
an important point.
So I spoke with, the lawyer today, this evening, about it, and, at this point, there are 70 townships who have signed on to this. As of about 5 o'clock today, there were 4 townships voting on it this evening. Which considerably cuts our costs for it, because the more people who join in, the less it costs us. So,
And from this letter, there is no cost
there's nothing listed
that
in
they,
there.
that
Nope.
they,
I don't know where the money
Yeah,
came
that's
from,
what I
cause
heard
it's
through the
not,
grapevine,
it's
I
not,
don't know if that's true or
it's
not.
not in the letter, that's never been asked for money for it.
Did he give a monetary cost that we might be in?
No,
The
he
township
said,
may
when I
incur?
talked to him tonight, he said that with the sheer number of townships who are signing on to this, that each township that signs on it spreads the fee over more townships.
Yeah, I get
So
it.
he said, even if we ask $5,000 from every township, that's $350,000 is never gonna cost that much. So,
Well, yeah, but I guess my issue is, or question is, so if there's, I mean, if it does, if it goes to the Supreme Court or whatever, those costs do, I mean, if it continues, you know.
I think he's assuming that it's going
Yeah,
to.
yeah, so these costs could escalate, it could hit that, I mean, who knows what it could cost.
Well, I don't
know.
think you can ever,
And
I
that-
don't think
and
you can
that's the
ever,
issue.
you know, predict it, but I think he's been doing it long enough, he's probably got a fair idea of what it's gonna cost to do. So, I mean, he's gone all the way to the federal Supreme Court for it, so, for other stuff.
Okay, well, I guess, yeah. So, we don't have a number value of what we may or may not
No,
use.
no.
So, and it sounds
It
like
would-
they are going against, or fighting the interpretation of Creo, or of,
The MPSC.
MPSC, of their interpretation, or at least their interpretation of the law,
Yes.
essentially. So I mean, I kind of, I think Mrs. Davies' comments are kind of right on the money, or specific here, of very similar. I'll kind of echo it, is if, I mean, we'll reap the benefits one way or the other. If one way or the other, it'll be either, if there's 70 townships already going, because they won't be getting any monetary relief from the government. This isn't for money, this is for a decision. So we wouldn't be recouping our more than likely, we would not be recouping our funds, more than likely.
Right, but class action lawsuits matter in the numbers.
Sure, 70 is still a pretty big number.
And not only that, but these
That
70,
is well funded, yeah.
all 70 of them aren't in we're in a little tip about the set aside for, just didn't go through what we went through.
Sure, and we've paid quite a bit of money for that.
Well,
Exactly,
this
so-
this is what costed us because of the mistakes that were made by before.
If these other townships could carry the burden, and all this happens, and he wins, so we'll still reap the benefits of what they do, is what I'm getting at. It's,
That doesn't seem like
I
ever a
disagree.
good idea.
well, one way or the other, if we're part of the suit, whatever happens, only thing, and will benefit one way or the other, but we'll have to pay for it. It could be 10 grand, could be 5 grand, could be whatever.
I'm not gonna speculate.
Well, whatever it is, it could be whatever. What I'm just getting at is, it seems like they have more than enough participants to push this forward, is what it sounds like to me. And with, obviously, talking about money, I don't know if you plan on using ARPA, if you think you use ARPA funds to pay this, or if that's out of the legal, budget. I don't think that should be discussed as well, you know, since we have the great, obviously, there's other great needs other than the fire department. We don't wanna give them what they need for that. You know what I mean?
Okay, no, you don't get to say we don't wanna give them what they need for
Well,
that.
I'm
You
just
just don't
saying,
wanna
that's
give
not
them
okay.
anything they want either, Bill.
I'm just
Some of the
saying,
things have done.
what's more important, a lawsuit that we have to pay for something where 70 other lawsuits, or other people are on it, which they could cover it, themselves, will still get, whatever happens, it'll still affect us, but that's money out the door. We could be using to help the township anyway. It's just still gonna happen,
Well, I mean, we have money in our legal fees account, which is where it would come from. We're paying for a lawyer to do lawyerly things.
That's why I'm asking, is it, if we wanna take it out of, it's legal fees, or if it's ARPA funds, you know, for another budget I'm talking about.
Right. I mean, it's legal fees. I wouldn't take it out of ARPA funds.
Well, if you use them to transfer, it's in the pool now, yes, but we've already designated a lot of money for ARPA issues. And there's a little bit left, so I didn't know if you wanted to take he didn't say this, but I'm just speculating and guessing if you wanted to use any of those leftover ARPA funds for this specific venture, or if you wanted to use, or further the budgetary expense for the budget, using from our budget for legal fees. I guess it kind of matters, budgetary.
I mean, my opinion is that we would use it out of the budget of legal fees.
That's my thought
I
as well.
wouldn't ever use the ARPA funds for that, to pay this, to pay for this.
Clarify
And-
that, just I just want
Yeah.
to clarify that. So anyway, I've spoken, like you hear from you guys. Any other comment about this, or?
I would like to make a motion to join the suit. To authorize the township attorney to file an appeal. or
You need
other
to speak up, we can't hear
appropriate legal
you.
action. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the township attorney to file an appeal or other appropriate legal action to challenge the MPS CSS October 11, 2024 ordering concern PA 233.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we'll just do a roll, before that, any more comment or discussion? I guess I'll say I think voting on this is unnecessary, so. All right, going down here, start down here with you,
Aye.
down to Fred,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
I'm a nay. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to, update to clerk and treasurer computers. I saw the quotes in the handout there.
So I had him redo the quote. I had him redo the quote because, he said that the supervisors, or in every one look when they looked at it, that the supervisor's laptop is,
It should be,
you know, not 15 years old.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Not, you know, not secure.
yeah, we did not have a chance, or I guess, never discussed, had a chance to get them to check it out, I guess.
Yeah, well, looking at the data in it is the majority of the issue, right?
The date of the data.
How long it is, how long ago it was purchased.
Oh.
Cause that's, the majority of the issues are how old the machines are, the security on them, because of the age of them. And that they
Okay.
had been,
And I was thinking about that today,
Purchased
at least in that
decade.
office, yeah, in that office there, I was just thinking along, I hope we could still keep that computer in there, cause it still functions fine, for, at least for printing purposes, to that computer, or the printer that's in that office. Because if there's a zoning administrator who needs to print it, or the assessor, assessor has their own station, but I don't know. The assessor or the supervisor needs to be printing from there at that machine. So, I don't know if that's okay to do that or not.
Yeah,
If you still
yeah.
need, if it being network is a problem, you know, with the computer in there or not. But, or we want off the network, I guess, is the question. The older computers,
the desktop,
yes,
they have to be a question anyway, but,
okay. We don't have to throw it out as.
right. But it should be able to be able to print, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Even
that's-
if we disconnected it from the internet. so
Print and
it's-
scan, someplace
Right.
for print and scan to go to, is what
Right.
I'm getting at.
Yeah.
For,
That should be, that, yes, yeah, I can say that, cause,
especially
yeah.
for the zoning administrator,
Right.
especially.
Yeah.
So, 'cause the supervisor should have this desktop or laptop, once it can, because it currently is not networked, this is not gonna not, so we'd have to get this, the ability to be networked to be able to print. So yeah, so what do we got here? So we have, the HP Inc., ProBook notebook. I see one there. And then
There's two.
well, it's two,
Oh,
it's,
sorry,
there's
there's
two
two.
computers and two docks
okay,
for it.
so it's two desktops essentially, or?
No, it's two notebooks.
2 notebooks,
Yeah.
okay.
Now it says 6 by engineer labor charges, is that hours?
Yes.
Hours are IT or?
Yeah. Which I'm gonna, I'm gonna say this. Our thing that we're paying is not for new purchases, right? That doesn't cover new purchases, it covers
I
these
just wanted to make
500
sure I
times that he's
understood
been
why
out
there
to
was
fix
6.
other stuff.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure, because
Yeah.
the others were 2. and that
Well,
was
and
6.
actually, I'm gonna ask him about that, this could conceivably be lower because, that did not change. Even though the number of computers did,
Okay.
so.
You're talking about the engineering labor?
Yeah, the 6, it was 6 on the old one as well, so I wonder if they missed that. Cause I would think it would be 4, but I don't know.
Yes. So that would, excuse me, that would be different.
So it would be lower, it would be a lower cost.
Is that the only one right there?
Yeah.
So we have a grand, well,
It's home closure.
Can you turn the air off?
so, I believe, so unit price for the the notebooks is $839.
Each, yeah.
Yeah, that's what the unit cost. So total for that would be $1678. Then we have,
The total price then.
yeah, I was just going by what, so this USB-C dock, that's just a plug, right?
It's a docking station for notebooks so that you can have the, like, we're gonna keep the, like, monitors and stuff that's there, so that you can connect all of that stuff.
Okay. So that was, $179 a piece, so totaling $353. As mentioned, the engineering charges were, for 6 engineering, instead of, so it'll probably be 4, it's $170 a piece. So that totals, $1,020, and then also their mileage for, I assume, installation, that's my interpretation, $43.16. Grand total of $3,290. And to be clear, that's ARPA fund related.
It's both some of the stuff.
Okay. So you're asking for a motion, so you have a motion to purchase, is that?
Yeah.
That's my interpretation. I assume that's what you're looking to purchase those today? So, yeah. I'll entertain a motion, or is there more conversation?
I'll motion to purchase the computers for the treasurer and clerk.
All right.
That's it.
And I just thought of something before we vote. So these are both notebooks, so they're both portable. Do you guys
Yes.
plan on using them at home? Or are
No.
they gonna
Nope.
stay in the
We're gonna
office?
stay here, but I will be able to net my personal laptop. And she actually planned a personal meeting as well. So,
Personal,
no, her, the
oh,
one.
use,
Yep.
okay,
Yeah.
so you're saying.
Using the laptops during our meetings.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so we have, a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, motion carries. Okay. All right, moving on to the MTA online renewal, or subscription renewal. And, I saw an actual total on there, or not?
There is, it's that, it's right in the middle. Yep, so what it is, it's not our membership is a separate thing. This is the online learning program. So you can like log in and watch videos on, like I did a lot in the beginning, I watched a ton of stuff on clerks, I watched a ton of stuff on elections, in the beginning, when we first started. It does not cover,
Seminars.
it does not cover like the conferences and all of that stuff. It
You
does,
mean attending the or you mean
Correct.
watching the conference?
attending the conferences, it does not cover that. The only thing it covers is maybe it saved us $130,000, cause it would've covered the super premium, extra expensive one would've covered that ARPA seminar that I went to, but I only paid $25 to go to it. The $1,900 one, whatever it is. So it's a decision about whether or not we think that we want to continue. So we bought last year we did the essentials package, which is the cheaper one, $750, is that what it is?
So is that $750 per year, or is that
Yes,
monthly, or?
$750 a year. It covers everybody, and it covers the basic videos that they have. And then each level up carries additional videos. My recommendation, you guys obviously can think whatever you want, but my recommendation is to maybe not do it at the moment at all. Not do anything at all. See if it looks like people are wanting to watch some videos, see how much they will be a la carte, cause you can buy them individually too.
Yes, do you have any idea what a la carte, just a basic video would be?
You've watched one, right?
I've watched a couple, but I'm
What's
not a
your-
member, so,
Yes, but what's your cost? 'Cause I think
for
it's
the one
half.
that was like 6 hours, it was $198.
Right, so I
But
think
then
they're
for a
about-
shorter one, it was like 40 something,
I think they're almost half, I think.
probably, yeah.
Or right around half to do them a la carte, so if we have stuff, it just seems like we'd have to watch a lot of videos to get to the $750 level.
Well,
Yes.
And then that doesn't cover maybe the ones we wanna watch.
Let me ask this, we have 2 board members in a room coming in,
Yeah.
do you guys wanna watch these videos?
Absolutely. I mean, if there's something available that would train us, yes, that would help us.
So, it's not that we can't watch them, it's,
She spent $119 on 2 videos. Carol did.
right,
No, 198 on,
$198
per video,
per video.
per video.
right.
Well,
I've watched 3 of them.
if we get it one more time, then
But we also figured out, were they ones that would have been
Right,
included?
that's the question.
Right,
Because,
Because the one that's gonna cover everything that you wanna see is $1,900 a year.
versus $750.
Right, but the $750,
But
and
there
you
were
said when you
several
went
that-
in, a lot of the ones at $750 were not the ones that were
unnecessary
covered in the
ones to see.
$750 were not the ones that she wanted to watch.
Oh.
So at the $750, what we paid last time, there's no way to know this, I guess, but do you think it paid for itself with your videos you guys watch?
I watched probably 3 videos, how many did you watch?
I would guess 3 or 4.
So
But I do-
probably didn't pencil out then.
Probably not,
Try.
and I do, honestly, I feel like I learned way more going to the conferences than I ever did sitting and watching video.
Yeah, wow.
Cause
Yeah,
there was
I get
people I
that.
could ask questions to, cause watching them inevitably leads me to ask a question. So.
So you're gonna wanna go to conference anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have been,
Yeah.
and they are super helpful. That's further down on what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you're thinking we hold off, is what you're thinking? We can be
it's-
bought at any time,
We can
correct?
buy it at any time, we don't have to do it now. We can add it whenever we want to, we will have it come, so I would say if the board members wanna look and see, you know, hey, I would do this video, we can kinda add it up and see if it's gonna, you know, they're super the MTA is ridiculously helpful, like, the poor guy who runs the member center, like, knows who I am.
Okay, so, yeah, so,
So we're just
So
essentially saying to hold off on it, at
Yeah,
least for right now.
And then
do a cost base.
everybody log into the account and look at it and see, you know, I really wanna watch this video, there's nothing here I wanna watch. And we can make an informed decision instead of just trying to guess, I guess, I don't know.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
So I don't think we need to make a vote or anything,
Right.
we just don't
We just
act.
don't renew it.
Don't
yeah.
act, and then, evaluate later. Okay, moving on to the next item, MTA online subscription room, I just did that, wrong one. All right, reception of cleaning quotes, so we received two quotes from two, or a quote from two companies, for cleaning the hall, once a month, doing the floors, surfaces, twice a month for cleaning the restrooms. I think that was the general scope, right?
Floors and surfaces once a month, and, bathrooms twice a month. Is that what you said?
I did.
I was
Um,
typing.
So I know you mentioned, Fred, that you may have somebody else.
Well, yeah, but I guess here's the question, do they have to be insured,
No, because we would be hiring you as a.
an individual?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have a person that may be interested in looking at it. She works on her own.
So would that would be the custodian job?
Yeah.
So that means you have to amend
Yep.
pay scale for that thing.
This company's been on the job itself instead of by the hour who's been on the whole thing.
Correct,
Yeah.
yep.
So that'll be, might be a little,
And I'd like to get a better
Tricky.
quote anyway,
okay.
I'm trying.
So yeah, I mean, I guess also, if you're staying out there, if you know anybody that might wanna clean, or as a cleaning company, you could actually, you could just contact us after the meeting and let us know. So yeah.
I'll call her and see if she's interested.
Alright, sounds like we made, or move on with, more quotes for that position. Alright, moving on to, treasurer and deputy treasurer attending MTA Treasurer Guide to Tax Collection on November 25th. I guess
You should have the flyer, that I emailed to everybody.
Rochelle, you might be the one to talk about that.
Yeah, they don't give you a lot of information specifically on here, but it's basically about the tax collection and the duties and deadlines to remember. And, you know, I think there's probably a lot that we could learn by going to the meeting or to the seminar.
So they're
I'd
just,
like to,
so like, I guess, they're not just telling you the dates, they're giving you strategies and stuff of that nature, or?
oh, no, I mean, we know what dates are out there, but there's like, they're gonna go probably more into depth, they're gonna talk about summer tax, it says summer tax deferment, delinquent personal property tax collection methods. So,
Best way to handle it, kind of thing.
yeah, so I think it would be something that would be very beneficial for myself and the deputy treasurer to go.
And it would be both of you then, your deputy is committed to doing if we say
I
yes?
have not spoken with her yet, but I'd like to get approval for that if she'd be able to go.
Okay, and where is it, you're going, I see there's a couple different
There's one
places.
in Franklin,
This is
it's on
for the
November
treasurer.
25th.
Oh, yep, there it is, the very
You
end.
wanna go to the tax collection?
Okay, so is that an overnight thing, or,
I don't believe so.
okay,
What was the question?
Was it overnight? And it's
No.
not. I don't think so.
okay, so I'm
And we can
seeing,
get the early bird rate if we act before November 12th.
130 apiece, what it looks like for early bird.
Mhm.
What the heck is the time on that?
So 260 total for that, and then also there's, see down here, there's an additional book as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's just, they always give you a discount on their books when you're there, if you go to it.
Oh,
That's, I mean, they've done that at all the conferences I've gone to, they have.
Is that included in the,
No, like if you want the book, you just get it at a discounted rate from what it would cost if you buy it separate,
okay,
because you registered for that.
I assume you want the book, I would assume? Yeah.
It-
Both of you?
It may means there's a book specific to this meeting, or you're saying that?
No, that's just a book that they put out,
There's a book
Okay.
there.
and you can get it for a discounted rate, like what was the book that they were discounting at the conference? Was it the Red Book?
I don't remember.
I can't remember what
But
it
it
was.
wasn't something specific to that
No, I mean,
meeting?
nominally it was, cause whatever it was the topics that we were talking about, but I can't remember what it was, no, we didn't buy it.
Alright, I guess if you could get it, it'd be $69, and then, for 2 books, that's what it looks like to me, and then, $260 for attending, so. Alright. And it's just one day, is that correct, Rochelle?
Yeah, it just says
Just
one day,
assume
yep,
that-
9 to 4.
94?
It's just, where is that? Times.
It's on this one here.
Oh, okay, you have a different one than I do.
Okay. I guess, any more questions? Alright, I guess, if you'd like to put forth a motion to attend,
Like, yes, I'd like to motion to attend, for the treasurer and deputy treasurer, to attend the treasurer's guide to tax collection in Frankenmuth on November 25th.
okay? Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second? Alright, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Do I need to put in, should I have put in the motion this specific price?
Will you lie on that?
I don't think you need it.
In your eye?
Yeah, so it can, yeah. Sorry, I lost track.
I had just asked her if we needed to put the amount in there, in the motion, but it sounds like you don't.
You've got the date and everything and where.
Okay, all right, moving on to the next item on the agenda. MTA new officer training, supervisor, treasurer, clerk, trustees, and deputies, that have office since 2020. December 17th in Frankenmuth, January, I assume these are conferences.
So this is the choices, right? I wanted to include the 3 choices that were close. I mean, if you really wanna drive to, Grand Rapids for it, you can, but these were the closest 3, and then that online, they have an online version available as well, and, that will have, a question and answer, online question and answer separate webinar for each position. So like they would have a clerk's day where the clerks were in an online webinar with somebody that they could ask questions to. And then they would have one for the trustees and one for the supervisor and one for the treasurer and whatever.
Is this the thing where you're talking about? Sorry. Yeah, that one, okay. Excuse me. But, pardon me, trying to get over a cold. So these are all, these dates are all, they're
They're
not.
choices.
There'll be those classes for all those
Yes, it's-
officers
yes,
at
you
those
just pick
specific, at those specific.
Whichever one you wanted.
Alright.
Those are just the 3 that were closest.
Alright, so what we got for numbers here? So,
That's 7 people,
I was thinking price tag.
150 piece.
For in-person, early bird, okay, that expires 2 weeks before the event. Okay, so 150. Times 7. So 430 total. Looks like there's some books and essentials.
It's the same thing, it's like, they just give you a discount and stuff. And this, the one, I think is the one book, which we already have, so like, yeah.
Okay, so So nothing out of control then, workbook wise?
No,
Okay,
I don't think we need, you don't need to purchase books.
and it looks like it's a singular day, starting at 9, at 9 noon, good, and then they have a lunch, and it continues, so. Alright.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see lunch on here. Yeah,
After lunch?
yeah, I see it now.
Okay. Alright, yeah, I guess it'd be, whoever wanted to participate.
Yeah, I just was encouraged, I would like to encourage everybody to go. I have found them to be crazy good and super helpful, and I learn things that I didn't know every time I go, and so
Okay.
you should go. Look, it says trustees right on here.
Alright, well, okay, fair enough. So, but everybody, yeah, so everybody goes 450, that's not too bad, so, or yeah, so, yeah. Okay, I guess I'll entertain a motion, if there's any more discussion about the benefits to this or not. I guess, Rochelle, have you gone to any in-person conferences?
No, no,
Okay,
not yet.
this will be your first then,
Mhm.
okay.
Well, the treasurer's one will be the first, but yes,
Well, the one, well, I guess.
November.
Yep. So, yeah, so I guess just to clarify, the December in Frank booth, Port Huron, there's one the 14th of January, and then, you're online December 20th. So I assume that's just a in-person live, or live online thing, so.
Right, so the,
Not a webinar, I guess, just to clarify.
right, it's only if somebody can make, like, they can go wherever they went. I just put those 3 in there because they were close, but if they
Sure,
couldn't,
and it's the same price.
couldn't drive anywhere else, yeah, they're all the same price. They couldn't drive on the 17th to Frankenmuth, and they couldn't go on the 14th to Port Huron, they could do the online version if that worked better for them.
Right on,
Um,
okay. Alright, fair enough. I'll entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to approve all new board members to attend the MTA new officials training.
Give the opportunity, maybe?
Yeah.
Well, with that, you want to, all board members, okay, can you repeat that?
Motion to approve all new board members to attend the MTA new officials training.
That would just be then the ones, Bill and Carolyn. You say new board
No,
members?
we're all new board members.
Okay. I guess I was
Right?
thinking, alright,
Well, I think you're actually. I think
We
you
have
need
to get sworn in again.
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you need to, I think you should put in there, give the opportunity to, you can't tell them to attend, I guess.
Well, I'm not telling them, I'm
Yeah.
approving them to go,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true. I suppose, yeah, that works. You're giving approval to go, yeah, alright,
So I'll make that motion.
alright, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Alright, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okey dokey, down to the PAR plan grant.
So that is just an update, we did apply for the park plan grant, to help with lighting, and we did not get that grant.
Is there something we're doing wrong?
Heck no, we got 2 of the 3 we applied for.
But I mean, is there something special they look at when you do these grants, how they make the decision why one person gets it and one doesn't, is it based on
Everybody's got their thing that they're looking for, you have to have the right.
verbiage when you write it up?
Was that for indoor lighting? Lighting.
Go ahead.
That one was for the outdoor lighting where we were gonna put up the other poles. That was only for like security things, and we have a camera and we have other things, so really the lighting was the most important. But they considered that grounds improvement instead
Said
of
security.
security. When I tried to explain that we were a rural place.
And it's really dark out there.
Yes, and, yeah, they said that it was considered more grounds improvement than security. So that was why we didn't get that.
Good to know. Alright, moving on to, board comment. Anybody wants to address any of the questions during public comment or anything? Alright,
I wanted to, thank you for your service,
thank you.
for the work
Yeah.
that you've done, and for working with us for this last year. I know it has not always been easy.
You're welcome. It was, trying and, learned a lot from this whole, not just from you guys, but from the whole experience, for everything. It's been kind of an eye-opening, experience on how things actually work, how the sausage is made, how things work, just at a very small level in just local government, so. It's been a good experience, for sure, so, I appreciate that. All right, anybody else? All right, I will ask, is there anybody who'd like to make a motion to adjourn?
I will.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.